championship number 2.
They did it.
Back-to-back.
3 championships in a row. UConn has done it again.
Number 7, great number 8. Champions for 9th time. UConn has done it again for the 10th time. They are the champions.
Welcome to the American Women's Basketball Championship Final, part of Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. It is indeed the championship game for the second straight year. UConn is taking on the second seed Bulls from South Florida. UConn beat South Florida twice during the regular season. In fact, UConn has never lost to an American Conference team in any of their 3 years, regular season or tournament. Welcome, Pam Ward, along with former National Player of the Year, Rebecca Lobo. And we get to see the probable National Player of the Year again in Breanna Stewart.
What a remarkable career it has been for Breanna Stewart. Without question, the best player in women's college basketball. And she plays her best in championship moments. And there's one of those here tonight. And Pam, think about it. If UConn makes it to the national championship game, which everyone expects, Breanna Stewart only has 7 more games, including tonight, wearing that UConn uniform, and she will go down as one of the best in the history of the game.
Certainly a brilliant career, 3 titles in all 3 years. She was the Final Four's most outstanding player.
An unprecedented 3rd time most outstanding player, Breanna Stewart.
Is there any way to stop her?
Breanna Stewart makes your life difficult.
And for South Florida, they have one of the most dynamic players in the country, Courtney Williams, averaging over 22 points a game. For more on the Bulls offense, let's go over now to Brooke Weisberg.
Well, while no team has actually beaten UConn this year, one team has beaten them for only 1/2, and that was USF back on February 29th. Courtney Williams, who, oh, by the way, has only averaged 24 points for her career against UConn, scored over 20 against them, but it took her 22 shots to get there. Last night, a big difference. 6 less shots, and she scored 22 points against Temple, and had a great quote, too, about Shalithia Stringfield. She said, "Lee, well, she carried us through the first half. I was flustered, and I didn't want to force it." Guys, I cannot expect Courtney Williams is going to try to force anything tonight.
Yeah, she got 2 fouls in the first quarter yesterday against Temple in the semis. Still ended up with 22 points. Shalithia Stringfield picked up the slack with 20 points and a career-high 13 rebounds. But, Rebecca, this is really a fun player to watch.
She's special. She's special. She's a dynamic guard. She's got great elevation, a great jump shot. She's one of those players who can get her shot off against just about anyone in the country.
She is listed at 5'8" and has an incredible vertical leap, and we are underway. Mariah Jefferson, also a senior, has her career winding down, and possibly for Morgan Tuck, who is eligible to leave school and go into the pro. She says she has not made up her mind yet.
South Florida starting out in a man-to-man defense, and you'll see Ferreira guarding Breanna Stewart in that matchup.
And Stringfield right away, at times she can play a little bit out of control. Right away she took it to the bucket.
But they need her in attack mode, trying to get touches in the paint.
UConn starting off 0 for 2, and there's Courtney Williams with the ball in her hand, leading the conference in scoring. Takes it up and in.
And that's what she can do. She is a great rebounding guard. She gets the defensive board, comes down. Mariah Jefferson was playing good defense, but Williams can elevate like very few women can.
And she is one of the few women, too, who can almost keep up with Jefferson speed-wise. Here's a foul on USF. Gino Auriemma was the American Conference Coach of the Year all 3 times that this league has been in existence, and going for that 11th national championship. UConn 0 for 3 from the field to start.
Look at that rebound. I mean, you see her elevate.
She averages almost 9 rebounds a game, 4th in the league.
And she's only 5'8". But Jose Fernandez sends her to the glass. You'll see her go to the offensive glass as well, because she's so difficult to keep off the boards.
South Florida with the Courtney Williams bucket, all the offense so far. We're in Uncasville, Connecticut, where it is packed with Husky fans, and that is a turnover. Stringfield a little bit too high for Williams. Jose Fernandez, in his 16th year, has done a terrific job with the Bulls. He's taken them to 3 NCAA tournaments, including last year. And you think really a good coach?
I think he's a great coach. He's done a really nice job building the roster, running sets to get Williams open. improvement from his players. And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see weak side help coming from USF. That time it was Courtney Williams. Whenever Connecticut tries to get the ball inside to Brianna Stewart.
USF lost 75-59 at home and then 79-59 at Stores, but led at the half, the only team to lead UConn at the half all year. Shot clock winding down. The drive to the basket, and that's what Brianna Stewart does. She will block a shot. And now in transition, taken away by Stringfield. Here's a 3-on-1. Williams threw it away. A great chance for the Bulls, but they blow it. But here's Stewie.
Brianna Stewart has the long arms and great timing. Look at that. Make sure that she does not get into the body so doesn't get a foul called.
Only Rebecca Lobo has more blocked shots
not for
in the history
not
of UConn. It's ticking away, isn't it?
We see this crowd here still standing because they will stand until UConn scores their first basket. Now, the last two games, Connecticut has come out really strong in the first quarter, but the last two games of the regular season, including their game against South Florida, they struggled offensively early.
They got down 13-2 to Tulane on senior night, came back to win by 40, and they just demolished Tulane yesterday. And Kia Nurse, just called for a foul.
And it wasn't a lack of energy. It wasn't coming out flat. It was simply a matter of missing shots that they normally make.
And on the other side, Ariadna Pooljol has been called for 2 quick fouls.
Can you say her name one more time?
I got to do it better, right? Ariadna Pooljol. There you go.
There we go.
say the J, which that's probably what threw me off. But look who's in. Loxa is playing. Kydia Loxa, who has not played since she hurt her ankle on February 21st, is back in. Number 33 in green, the unanimous freshman of the year in this league. We'll see how she can do because that ankle is by no means healthy.
But significant for a few reasons, as you see Jenkins getting the bank three. But with Loxa in the game, she's their best three-point shooter. So even if she's not getting touches, it extends the defense. You cannot help off of her because she's such a threat.
It's 42% of her threes and almost 3 a game. Mariah Jefferson from distance. And the people here can finally sit down.
It's a good sign for Mariah Jefferson. In her last 5 games, only 1 of 9 from the three-point line. She's had a little bit of struggle, but it's important for her to remain confident behind the three-point arc.
Scored 2 points yesterday against Tulane in only 23 minutes as the starters were able to rest a lot. Loxa gets it blocked by Stewart. Williams with the step back, a little bit too short, so Stewart already with a couple of blocks. The Bulls doing a good job getting back to stop UConn's transition offense. Stewie way off the mark, and it's off Tuck's hand and goes over to the Bulls.
When these teams played about a week ago, Brianna Stewart in the third quarter started off the quarter with an airball three-pointer and then was gangbusters the rest of the time. So seeing her miss badly is not necessarily a bad omen for Connecticut.
Yeah, she had 16 points in the third quarter of that game, in which she ended up with 27 points and 13 rebounds. Joe Vasili, Mai Forsberg, Denise Brooks, our officiating crew. And Mai is over there looking and trying to decide what's going on. We have a clock issue.
We had some clock issues yesterday.
Yeah, one of them just stopped being illuminated.
Stopped clocking?
Yes, it was declocked. South Florida came from behind to beat Temple yesterday in the semifinal.
You know, I think it's significant to note that while Connecticut has beaten South Florida twice so far this year, neither time did South Florida have their full lineup. The first game, Alicia Jenkins did not play because of injury. The last time they met, Loxa did not play because of injury. She's still not 100%, but as we mentioned, it's important for her to be on the floor as that three-point threat.
Jenkins is terrific. She is the top rebounder in this league, just under 12 per game, and she did not play in the first game.
Connecticut to start this game very uncharacteristic. 1 of 5 from the floor, but 3 turnovers. This is a team that takes very good care of the basketball, only averages just under 12 on the season.
They are first in the nation in assist to turnover ratio, first in the nation in scoring, scoring defense, scoring margin. You could just go on and on, winning games by 40 points per game. And last night, when they played Tulane, it was a different story. UConn hit its first 9 shots on its way to a resounding victory. Tonight, not so good at 1 for 5. Jefferson's 3, the only one they've hit.
We were talking about it this morning. Even when Connecticut has struggles scoring or shooting in a quarter, they don't do it in back-to-back quarters. And we've never, at least this season, have not seen them have a full game where they struggled to shoot efficiently from the floor.
The clock issue was settled as it was set back to 6:15 and 27 seconds on the shot clock. There's Loxa, got it knocked away by Tuck. Hetty Lou Samuelson couldn't handle it. Good pass to Ferrara, who finishes.
The question with Loxa is not her catch and shoot abilities, but it was a bad ankle sprain that she had, and that'll affect lateral movement. So how is she going to be able to move when she puts the ball on the floor?
And another clock issue. Shot clock didn't roll.
This is like when you get to the airport for the first flight of the game and something's wrong with the plane. They had all night to fix it.
Yes.
This is the first quarter of the game.
Right.
The clock should not be messed up yet.
It should be ready to go. Last week, UConn had a slight scare early on in their regular season matchup with USF. South Florida did come out early. Courtney Williams had 12 in the first quarter. She's good. Bulls jumped out to a 25-24 halftime lead. First deficit at the half for UConn all year, but then Brianna Stewart helped UConn to a 79-59 win over USF again with 16 points in the third quarter for Stewie alone.
Air ball last time. This time, pretty smooth jumper from the free throw line.
Nothing but net. UConn had 4 turnovers in its first 9 possessions, where Stewart hit one. South Florida up by 2. Stringfield. Stewart closed, and Stringfield was able to float it over there.
What a play to split through the double with her dribble and then to finish with long arm of Stewart coming over. Nice by Stringfield. Again, important for her to be in attack mode offensively.
Stringfield, the 6th player of the year in this league, but has been starting the last few games because of Loxa's injury. Samuelson, 0 for 2 from the floor. She has been shooting very well, over 50% from 3 over the last 5 games. Murray striving on Stringfield and put it in.
That was good defense by Stringfield, moving her feet, but way to recover. Nice job by Kia Nurse to hit that.
Nurse, a 3rd-team selection in the American Conference team this year.
Look at Mariah Jefferson chasing Courtney Royers.
Stewart almost forced the turnover. And Stringfield slows things and backs it up a bit. Yeah, Jefferson is face guarding Williams, so Stringfield finds a little bit of room and missed badly.
Williams is going to have to run off some more screens because she cannot shake Mariah Jefferson without the help of a teammate.
Tuck inside, had the height advantage over Stringfield, and they're going to get Stringfield for the hold. Stringfield big yesterday on offense and big so far today.
Take a look at this. Splits right through the screen. Oh, here comes Stewie. No, not in time. Stringfield.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Proud to support and equip hundreds of Team USA contenders so they can achieve their Olympic dreams. And Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
From Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut, the American Conference Final, South Florida up by 2. Brooke Weisbrod just listening to the UConn huddle.
Well, Rebecca, I heard you talking about how close Mariah Jefferson is guarding Courtney Williams. That's exactly what Gino Auriemma hit on in the timeout. He said, let's make her work extra hard to get the ball, and let's make her play some really tough defense. So look for a lot of screens right now. Maybe Mariah Jefferson coming off the elbow, trying to knock down and wear down Courtney Williams.
And Brooke, what's remarkable about it, as Mariah Jefferson gets out and gets the steal, it's one thing to say, all right, now prevent Courtney Williams from getting the basketball, you know, one of the best athletes in the women's game. But then to go out there and do it, Mariah Jefferson, the energy she is exerting on both ends of the floor right now.
Yeah, because could that work both ways, though, that Mariah, she never seems to get tired, though.
She's done this before.
Yeah. You might think it would wear her down, but she's doing fine. There's Williams, gets it over to Stringfield. Had to back up. Nurse has the height advantage. That's a couple of tough shots she's hit.
She needs to come to play. They need a secondary scorer. They've got Courtney Williams. South Florida does. They need Loxa or Ferreira and Stringfield to get going on the offensive end as well.
Ferreira has been struggling over the last few games. She left the game yesterday in a lot of pain, has been dealing with some plantar fasciitis. Let's go back to Mark.
So Mariah Jefferson just right here shoots the gap beautifully, gets out. No one's catching her in the open floor. Quickest point guard in the nation.
Three-time first-team All-Performer and All-American last year, certainly on her way to being one this year. Ball deflected, and then Tuck almost was able to steal it.
Well, when Williams does catch, Connecticut is sending a double team, immediately forcing her to get the ball out of her hands. Except on that possession.
Off the screen, Loxa, their best three-point shooter. That's two banks.
That's two banks. They've been practicing those.
Loxa, again, has not played since February 21st. Has a bad ankle. That's her first points. Averages 13.5 per game, second best to Courtney Williams, 22 plus. Morgan Tuck wants the ball in the middle. Stewie got it to her, but then it was taken away by Jenkins. Stringfield decides not to challenge Stewart, and then there's a travel to give it back to the Huskies.
Travel by Jenkins, but on the other end, that was great defense. You rarely see Morgan Tuck get the basketball on the post and have it taken out of her hands. She is a big, strong woman when she gets the ball on the block.
Mariah Jefferson looks over to Gino Oriema, who calls a play, signals in one. UConn is not red in this game. Stewart, tough pass, found Nurse, but she couldn't get it home. Tuck rebounds and puts it in.
Morgan Tuck doing what Morgan Tuck does. Already 5 rebounds in this game.
Defense on Jenkins. And Williams looks over at Coach Fernandez, a little frustrated by what Jefferson is doing to her. Jefferson does it again. Good defense by Williams not to give up on the play. And then on the other end, Stringfield misses. Frantic pace right now. It's Bulls basketball.
Mariah Jefferson is having a ridiculous impact already on this game. You take a look at this, athlete to athlete, and then the block the other way by Courtney Williams. What a duel this has been already between those two.
Jefferson with 5 points, Williams just with 2. Jefferson has a couple of steals. Ferreira driving against Stewart and then threw it away.
The good sign, though, for South Florida is their turnovers have been dead ball turnovers. Jose Fernandez was telling us we cannot have live ball turnovers that turn into easy buckets the other way. The steals by Jefferson have been one thing, but when they've thrown it away, it hasn't led to points for Connecticut.
UConn likely would like to get the last shot of this quarter. Samuelson has not scored. That's always a good option. Samuelson's a good passer. Here we go, Williams with the miss. And for only the 3rd time this year, UConn trails after 1 quarter of play. UConn trails South Florida by 1 after 1 quarter. Moments ago, Brooke Weisbrod spoke with South Florida coach Jose Fernandez.
Jose, Courtney Williams with just 2 points so far. How concerned are you?
Well, they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job keeping the ball out of her hands, and she's having a hard time getting open. We got to free her up with different types of screens.
Thank you.
Jose Fernandez already has the postseason voice going on, the coach voice that always seems to lead this time of year. But Courtney Williams, Rebecca, just 1 of 3 from the floor.
Well, she can't get touches. Mariah Jefferson is in her space, not even letting her catch the basketball.
Jefferson has a couple of steals, converted one of them into a bucket. Only the 4th time this year UConn's been down after 1 quarter of play.
Look at that attention Williams is drawing. Came off 2 screens in order to get open, but still couldn't get a look.
That's 3 blocks for Stewie.
She's on her way, Pam.
She's going to get your record tonight, I think. But per game, I believe you're still ahead.
For those that count by the per game.
As we all should. Oh, boy, that's a tough pass. Jefferson got it into Samuelson, but it was knocked out of bounds. Stays with the Huskies.
But, you know, Jefferson gets it in attacks. I mean,
yeah.
Back to Brooks' report, they're going to try to wear Williams out on both ends of the floor.
Kenny Lou Samuelson took 2 shots in the first quarter, both from 3, and she missed them both. She has been very potent offensively the last few games. Tuck had to pass out. Katie Lou, 0 for 3 from range. Last 5 games is averaging 17 points per game, hitting 52% of her threes until tonight. There's a 3.
How about Jenkins? Banks the first one in, gets that one in. Coming into this game, she'd only made 5 threes on the season.
She's already got 2. She was 5 of 18 on the year before tonight, and that's a good old-fashioned hold. Ferreira going to be called for the foul. Semifinals of the Men's West Coast Conference Championship tips off tonight. St. Mary's Pepperdine and BYU Gonzaga, all starting at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Then switch over to ESPN2. Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Continuing. First sub in for Gino Auriemma. Gabby Williams with the ball, coming in for Samuelson, who sits down after going 0 for 3 from the floor.
Nice little elevation on Mariah Jefferson's jumper on that one, too. This is a personal matchup for her.
Jefferson with 7. And it was indeed a 2 for Mo, who continues to guard Williams. They've run her off a screen. She's got a little bit of room, but Tuck recovered. Shot clock winding down. She's got to do something. Step back 3 is well short.
And when you're a scorer like Williams, if you cannot catch the basketball because of the attention the defense is giving you, you have to become a screener. You can't just stand around on the outside and hope you get open. Become a screener. Make the defense hedge. Make your player help off of screens, and that gives you a chance to get open yourself.
Stewart got Jenkins up in the air. Got a fresh 30 for the Huskies. Nurse. Williams, good ball movement. Jefferson, nothing doing. But another offensive rebound, and Tuck cleans up.
And Tuck was responsible for both rebounds, offensive rebounds on that possession, whether it was just keeping the ball alive with the tip or getting it herself.
Stringfield left open, fires away. And now Jefferson pushes it. Stewart off the mark, another offensive board, this time Williams.
And along with live ball turnovers, that's what Jose Fernandez said. He said we can't give up too many offensive rebounds. Connecticut is too efficient. You cannot give them those second chances.
Inside Stewart, somehow matched up with Williams, who fouled her, and Stewie hit it anyway. UConn leads for the first time.
6'4", Brianna Stewart. Anytime there's a switch defensively, she knows. Go inside, post up, and finish. It's why she's such a tough matchup.
And South Florida, down for the first time tonight, takes a timeout in this American Conference Championship game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Allstate. Are you in good hands?
I'm Doug Kazarian. Coming up on the Volkswagen halftime report, another ticket punch today from the Metro Atlantic. The winning team had never been to the NCAA tournament. Also, Kara Lawson will react to what's been a busy stretch of championship games. All that and much more coming up at the break. Right now, back to Pam and Rebecca.
Thank you, Doug. Always looking forward to hearing from Kara Lawson. And yes, we do have a first-timer coming into the women's tournament. Brianna Stewart completes the three-point play.
She's not a first-timer.
No. UConn has scored the last 7 points of this game. They trailed by 1 after the first quarter.
Coming out now, extending their pressure defense. Laxa still not able to get a clean look. Connecticut knows how deadly she can be when she has space.
Hitting on 42% of her threes coming in, but playing at with an ankle that's got a brace on it. I'm actually surprised that she played today.
She's been out the last 2.5 weeks. She's strained some ligaments in that ankle, so not just a simple sprain, serious injury.
Fine young player from Latvia. She's a freshman, the unanimous freshman of the year this year in the league. Practice for the first time today since she got hurt and is out there playing. Stewart again! They hit her and she still makes the basket.
South Florida is fronting Brianna Stewart, and the help is going to come from the weak side. And how does Connecticut counteract that? By getting the ball to the high post and then going in from there where there's no longer an angle for a weak side help defender to come across.
Second foul on Ferreira. Rims out, rebound. Jenkins was able to get it before it went out of bounds. UConn up by 5. Stringfield.
Nice hesitation. Change of pace for Stringfield to get into the lane.
Senior from Jacksonville. Jefferson guarded by Williams. And then blows by everybody. Stewart inside to Williams. Shot clock at 8. Tuck wants it. Stewart in and out. And the rebound is off of UConn. 4 playoff teams highlight our NBA Wednesday doubleheader at 7 Eastern. Zach Randolph and the Grizzlies at the Garden to take on Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics. Then at 9:30 Eastern, it's the Clippers in Oklahoma City. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown charged by Dew at 7:30 Eastern Time Wednesday, both games on ESPN. Jesperson has checked in for the first time. Maria Jesperson, number 12 in green, from Denmark. A lot of international players on this South Florida ball club. Let's see a lot of Danish players outside of Denmark. Shot clock winding down.
Not in Connecticut, we don't.
And they can't get a shot off. Good defense by the Huskies.
And it can get lost because they're so proficient offensively and their offense is so pretty to watch. But Connecticut, when they want to play lockdown defense, we've seen it from Jefferson individually, but as a team, they are all together playing really well.
Tuck just takes it down the lane and puts it in. Really proficient with her left hand.
It's not flashy. She just gets the job done. Look at those arms, able to go up and get that pass. Morgan Tuck is the steady one for Connecticut. Always in the right place at the right time. Again, nothing flashy, but she gets it done.
She's 3 for 3 from the floor with 5 rebounds, has a couple of assists, and the crowd was cheering for Stewart's effort to try to keep the ball in bounds. And it was a good save by Gino to grab his superstar and make sure she didn't run into the bench. Gino actually said that this has been the most challenging of the 4 years he's had with Brianna Stewart here, just because they had to replace Stokes and Mosqueda Lewis and a lot of working in a lot of newer players.
Yeah, you lose so much experienced players, especially on the defensive end, who knew where to be.
But I don't think anybody's going to try for him for
no, they're
his
not.
challenge this year. Williams now guarded by Williams. Gabby on Courtney, and halfway in and came out. Jesperson grabs the rebound. Courtney Williams now 1 of 4 from the floor.
Well, she's got to be thinking, this is my chance. I finally have Jefferson off of me. Get me a touch.
Jefferson now guarding Stringfield. As we go inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. Now Williams is the one chasing Courtney down.
What a block party it's been so far for Brianna Stewart. We talked about her ability. I mean, not only the blocks, but rarely gets in foul trouble, has never fouled out of a game in her college career. Does a great job of keeping the spacing between her body and the offensive player so she doesn't get the foul call.
4 blocks already for Brianna Stewart. And USF calls a timeout with 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Welcome back. Gina Oriema and company with the lead, and she's getting close. 4 to tie you, Rebecca Lobo. She's already got 4 tonight.
I'm gonna really go out there and make a prediction. She's getting it tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah. The blocks record.
Yeah. The overall blocks record.
Yes.
It's the number of blocks. UConn on an 11-2 run. South Florida's hit just 1 of its last 6 shots. And they're having trouble just getting the ball in. Courtney Williams, 2 points, 20 below her average. Had a slow start yesterday in the semis with just 2 points in the first half and finished strong. Jesperson gets it into Courtney Williams, and she is doubled. And then dribbled towards the sideline. 2 seconds left on the shot clock now.
How about this defense? This possession, the ball's gone out of bounds. Connecticut, they're just working so well together, following the scouting report, doubling Williams.
Big height advantage as well, but they are a great defensive team. They have to shoot. Terrific defense. UConn #1 in the country in scoring defense, and they were terrific on that trip down the floor.
And this tells you what kind of an athlete right there Gabby Williams is. She comes into the game, plays forward, but she's the one defending Courtney Williams on the other end of the floor.
In fact, it's an 11-2 UConn run, and that run came when Gabby Williams came in for Samuelson. Samuelson, who was scoreless, is back into the game. She came in for Nurse. Tuck this time goes down the right side, and a 3-second violation against the Huskies. Men's ACC tournament kicks off tomorrow in our nation's capital. ESPN2, your home for first-round games. It's NC State, Wake Forest at noon Eastern, followed by Florida State, Boston College. Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods continues. Don't miss a minute of the action. Boston College with an infamous double this year. Winless in both men's basketball in the conference and in football in the conference. Never been done before. And they win tomorrow.
We'll see. Great job by Notre Dame winning on the women's side over Miami yesterday. I'm sorry, over Syracuse yesterday.
Williams with the miss. Notre Dame now 3 for 3 in title since joining the ACC. Morgan Tuck, by the way, called for an offensive foul on the last trip down. Not a 3-second violation, but a foul on number 3. And that is the first on her. Shot clock at single digits. Cross court to Jefferson. Steps back and nails it.
How about Mariah Jefferson with a little step back and finish? She is locked in. She's got energy on the defensive end, and it's transferring to the offensive end.
And another turnover. That's 12 for the Bulls. As Jenkins stepped on the end line.
Mariah Jefferson's so quick. Come here. All you need as a guard is a little separation to get your shot off when you're going against a like-sized defender, and she gets it with a little step back going left.
Jefferson has improved so much since she was a freshman. Gina Oriema talked to us about that today, as she really worked between her freshman and sophomore years, extended her range. And she's so quick. Samuelson, finally. She missed her first 3 from out there, nailed that one, and all of a of a sudden it's a 10-point lead. This is what UConn does. They go on these runs, and all of a sudden you're in deep trouble. Jesperson missed. Samuelson, 2 in a row. Yep.
Brianna Stewart, the wherewithal to know who had the hot hand and make the cross-court pass to get it to the hot hand.
Just about the same spot. UConn's scored the last 10 points now as we approach 1 minute to go in the first half. Courtney Williams just 1 of 6 from the floor. Herrera, they needed that big time. She hits the 3. Stops a 19-2 Connecticut run.
With the way Connecticut has stifled Courtney Williams, that's the question. Where is the offense going to come for South Florida? Good sign for them that Ferreira can get that to drop.
Williamson, will she take a 2? Yes.
That's where she's really improved her game. Started the season as a 3-point shooter. Now she has become more of a complete player on the offensive end, willing to take it inside.
Still about 70% of Samuelson's shots are 3s, but she's become better at the 2. Jenkins gets a gift and takes advantage of it. It looked like Jefferson was going to force another turnover. Tuck. Well, Williams is so good. Just skies in there for the putback. Right before the end of the half, Gabby Williams, with her athleticism, leaps to get the rebound and puts it in. And UConn, trailed by 1 after 1 quarter, is now up by a dozen. Here's Brooke with Gino Oriema.
Thank you, Coach. Courtney Williams just 1 of 6 in that first half. How are you making life so difficult for her?
Well, it's not easy, as you know, but I thought Mariah did a great job on her, and then when we put Gabby Williams in there, it just gives her a different look. You know, Gabby's just as athletic as Courtney and a little bit taller, so we're just trying to keep her off balance, that's all.
And then the offensive rebounds, is that something that you address in a timeout? Why the response in the second quarter?
Well, you know, Gabby Williams is a heck of a rebounder, and Morgan Tuck has been incredible just keeping the balls alive. But when you're not shooting the ball well, you know, you got to get in there and give yourself extra possessions. And I thought the last 10 minutes we did a great job of that.
Thank you. Pam, back over to you.
Yep, they're now up to shooting 52% in the first half. Outscored South Florida 23-10 in that big second quarter. Time now for the Volkswagen halftime report. Welcome back to the American Women's Basketball Championship final part of Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. 1 half to go in the Women's Championship, and UConn going for its 3rd straight conference championship has a 36-24 lead over 2nd seed South Florida. And we welcome you back to Uncasville. Pam Ward along with Rebecca Lobo, and Courtney Williams, the best scorer in the American Conference this year, has been shut down in the first half.
Connecticut's defense, you heard Kara Lawson talk about it at the half, was stifling in that first half, and it starts with Mariah Jefferson and the pressure she was putting on Courtney Williams. And it's not just when Courtney Williams caught the basketball, but it was before she got a touch. Look, she's right in Williams' space, even coming off screens. And as soon as Williams catches the basketball, she is right there. Nothing easy for Courtney Williams in that first half, only 1 for 6. And the quickness on display for Jefferson. And not a bad block by Williams as well to finish that one off. But interesting to see here, you know, can Mariah Jefferson continue to apply that kind of pressure third quarter and then into the fourth quarter? I think she can. I have not seen this woman get tired.
I've never seen her tired. She was the Defensive Player of the Year in the American Conference this year. Courtney Williams only 2 points in the first half, made her first shot, missed the last 5, scoreless for the last 19 minutes and 20 seconds of the first half, and Stewie gets it going right away.
No surprise. South Florida in a man-to-man, so they get Stewart on the low block. Again, pass coming from the high post, so that weak side help does not have time to get there.
Brianna Stewart with 4 blocks away from tying most blocks ever in the history of this illustrious program. Courtney Williams yesterday had 2 points in the first half, 20 points in the second half against Temple. But she is being guarded a lot more closely today. And there's the 5th block for Stewart today. Ferreira did not give up on it.
Yeah, nice job by Ferreira to follow that shot. But you have to understand on the first one how long Stewart's arms are. It's going to be tough to get that shot off.
Stewie is 6'4". And this Tuck can't gather it with really, really long arms. Let's go over to the 3rd member of our team, Brooke Weisbrod.
Guys, just chatting with Jose Fernandez out of halftime. Obviously, it was difficult for USF just to initiate their offense, so they're going to look to change a couple of things up. You see this set here, a 1-4 low, so look for that, or some dribble drive penetration to try and enter through the offense.
Trying to get something going after they hit only 39% of their shots in the first half. Williams contested by Tuck that time, and she has now missed her last 7 shots. Where is she now? She is, 1 for 7, so she's missed 6 in a row.
Well, her issue has been even, just getting her hands on the basketball, getting open so she can get a look. Nice job cutting to the basket. Jefferson helped off of her that time when Ferreira caught it low. Nice cut by Williams.
Gino Oriana said Courtney Williams is the hardest player that his team has had to guard over the last 2 years. That is high praise indeed, considering they play everybody out of conference.
Well, he said it's because when she gets the basketball, you can't defend her. You can, only if Stewart switches out on her with her length can you defend her. So what do you do with a player that you have a hard time defending once they catch the basketball? You prevent them from catching the basketball, and that's what Mariah Jefferson has done in Gabby Williams in that second quarter so effectively.
Pujol just picked up her 3rd foul for USF. Stewart with the height advantage. Can't stop that.
That right-handed hook on the block. Again, we talked about her long arms, her high release point, especially with a hook shot. Nothing you can do with that.
So the lead is back up to a dozen. South Florida 0-19 all time in their series against UConn, but they have played them tougher than anyone else in this league. Connecticut 62-0 against American Conference foes, both regular and tournament time. Shot clock winding down. And another good defensive stance for the Huskies.
But you know what, Pam, we haven't seen from Courtney Williams, we talked about it in the first half. Screen somebody. You're standing over there, you can't get open, so help your teammates get open. Set a back screen, set a flare screen from somebody, because again, then your defender might help off, and then that's a way for you to get open.
Samuelson, it's another 2.
We've seen that from her, the versatility that is becoming her offensive game. Not only 3-pointers, but here a pull-up. You see her take it all the way to the basket.
She is in double figures now with 10 points, having a great American Conference tournament. 14-point advantage ties the largest lead of the night for the Huskies. Shot clock again into single digits, and they're going to get Nurse as Stringfield drove the baseline.
Well, defensively, if you're moving and you trip the offensive player, that's not a legal guarding move. Yeah. It's one thing if you're standing still and they trip over you, but when you're moving your feet and you trip them, it's a foul.
Second foul on Nurse, who will play in the Olympics with Canada in the summer. Williams had to step back that time off the mark, and Samuelson grabbed it. Tuck turns and couldn't get it to go. Now Williams trying to get something going in the open court, but Stewart stuck a hand in there. What a bounce pass from Jefferson to Nurse. And then coming back, another block for Stewie. That's 6. Breathing down your neck. Nurse, yes. Timeout, South Florida. Brianna Stewart and company on their way to another title.
Here is your 2-time National Player of the Year. Defensively, offensively, Connecticut, so good.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Hyundai.
Welcome back to Uncasville, Connecticut. Over 7,000 people and a Husky in attendance. And UConn has put on a show since about midway through the second quarter, now leading South Florida 47-28 in this championship game. Brianna Stewart, 13 points, 6 blocks.
What's much? I mean, this is what Connecticut does. This is what Brianna Stewart does come tournament time, elevate their game. But the way UConn is playing on both ends of the floor tonight, they are so good, Pam.
Boy, and Stewart just blocked Stringfield's way to the basket. Jefferson has been like glue on Courtney Williams, but got called for the foul out on the perimeter. Only the first on Mo. The Huskies perennially do a great job of defending without fouling. Very rarely get into foul trouble.
And what they're doing tonight as a team, they're just exactly where they need to be, whether it's on their own person or on the help side. It's the team that is ready for the NCAA tournament to start.
Aloxa back into the game. Kitty Aloxa playing for the first time since the third week in February, playing on a bad right ankle. She had 3 points in the first half. Shot clock winding down. In and out from Stringfield, an offensive rebound for Ferreira.
One thing to notice, and one of the reasons Connecticut is so good defensively, is the communication. Morgan Tuck in the middle of the lane is constantly talking, telling her teammates whether they're clear, whether there's a screen coming. Great communication by Connecticut.
And she is one of Gino Orienta's all-time favorite players. Very smart. Williams, yes. Everything coming difficult for her today, but she's able to get that three down.
She's a special player, and if you haven't seen her before tonight, you haven't had a chance to really experience what she can do, because Connecticut's defense has just locked her up.
Whistle away from the ball. And a foul on Samuelson for UConn, but they are up 16 in the championship game. Timeout on the floor. Wish we could turn back time. We are back. Brianna Stewart, brilliant again tonight.
Oh, I mean, the best player in the country is showing why on both ends of the floor. Her long arms, getting those block shots, can hit the mid-range. And this is where she's really improved, is her strength inside. Here, she gets pulled down, still able to finish. It's the reason she will be most likely on the national team, the Olympic team this summer as the youngest player.
Third week and in February, they had the camp at Stores, and Stewart more than held her own against the best players in the world. That's tough to pick that Olympic team for the U.S. because there's so many to choose from.
Nice problem to have.
Yeah. You've done pretty well. You got yourself a gold a long time ago. Shot clock again. Winding down, and Williams, good job to keep it going by Courtney Williams. Then she put one up over Stewie.
How about that? That's what we're talking about. Very few players can make that kind of play.
Put it up for the three. And landed on her backside.
Yeah, a 13-point game now.
UConn has only played 6 players, and Samuelson, after a slow start, is heating up. 13 points for the freshman. A couple of sisters went to Stanford.
Yep, behind the backboard, reached in with the right hand and hit. Back to Samuelson, coming into this game, she was leading Connecticut in scoring during this American Conference tournament.
Tuck spots up for three, no good, and it's off of Courtney Williams. Well, actually off of Stewart. After tonight's Pepperdine St. Mary's men's WCC semifinal on ESPN SportsCenter with Butchie and Nicole Briscoe. We'll have all the championship week highlights and also look back at Peyton Manning's career. SportsCenter at night after Pepperdine St. Mary's on ESPN. You might have heard that Peyton Manning retired.
I did hear. Nice. SportsCenter is chock full this time of year too. Get caught up on all the college basketball highlights. Love it.
Brianna Stewart sits for the first time tonight. Courtney Williams has scored the last 8 points for South Florida, and Ferreira goes down, holding her face, and now getting up for USF. Gabby Williams is in the game. Nurse off glass. When Gabby Williams came in the first half, the Huskies went on a tear and were plus 16 with her in the game. So a very good plus-minus for her. And that's a tough shot for Jenkins.
Yeah. And Coach Oriema puts Gabby Williams in to give Courtney Williams a different look. She starts to get hot, so you send the bigger defender, great athlete, out to defend her.
Gabby at 5'11", and there's a finish on the other end. Stewart going to come back in at the next whistle. Not much of a break. Ferrara able to get inside.
Ferrara's had a nice game on the offensive end for South Florida. She came into this tournament struggling a little with her shot. She's dealt with injury this season, a very sore plantar fascia. Good sign for her to be playing well for South Florida going into the tournament.
Samuelson with the miss. Rebound into the hands of Courtney Williams, who looks to blow by Samuelson, who did a good job to contain her. At least momentarily. Tuck came over to help. Jose Fernandez yelling for a foul that didn't come. Williams trailing the play. And a holding foul on the Bulls. That's Ferrera's third. She's got a big knot on the left side of her forehead, kind of above that left eye.
Yes, she does.
From that last fall that she took closer to USF's basket a moment ago. And now she has to guard Stewart. That's just not fair.
It's not fair guarding Stewart without a knot on her forehead.
15 for the likely National Player of the Year yet again. And it's a 16-point advantage in the final 45 seconds of the third quarter. Williams having to retreat because of the defense. Springfield has to shoot. And it was well off the mark.
Beautiful defensive possession, tied by Connecticut.
Nurse has Stewie all alone.
That is a special talent. 6'4". We saw her hit the hook shot, burying the defender in the lane. Last possession, then here with a three-point shot.
Jenkins, defended by Stewart, couldn't get the shot off. Brianna Stewart, another quarter away from another title. Welcome back to the American Championship in Uncasville, Connecticut. Pam Ward, Rebecca Lobo, and Brooke Weisbrod joining you. And UConn trailed after one quarter. Had a 12-point lead at the half, and then Brianna Stewart and the rest of the Huskies have just steamrolled to their largest lead of the night.
And it started on the defensive end. You can't talk about it enough. Just the way they, and starting with Courtney Williams, the way they've just taken her out of her offensive game. But down the line, everybody's just been out there working their tails off on the defensive end.
Courtney Williams, 5 of 15 from the floor, at least up to 12 points, 10 points in that third quarter. UConn in the second half is shooting 77% from the floor, 10 of 13 from the floor, up to 59% for the game, and playing great defense.
Well, much of that is because of their defense, getting steals, getting runouts, easy looks as a result.
Here's Courtney Williams, a terrific player, but it just wouldn't fall. Gabby Williams gets the rebound. UConn has only played 6 players tonight. Williams the only reserve to get any action. Jefferson's turn. Her first basket of the second half. But this is a well-rested Husky team, their third game in 3 days. Ferrara answers, but because they had big wins over East Carolina and Tulane, the starters didn't have to play a lot of minutes leading up to today. Here's a 2-on-1. Williams to Loxa, and Tuck gets another rebound.
And that's what Connecticut you can expect to see them for the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament as well. giving the starters a chance to rest.
Kia Nurse is the only Husky to start every game this year. Tuck.
Connecticut continuing to make the extra pass. Gino talking to us this morning said, if you can't make the next pass, you can't play for us. The Connecticut team where only 2 players have more turnovers than assists, and those margins are very close.
Herrera tried to make it 2 in a row, but couldn't. Rebound taken down by Samuelson, who quickly gets it up to Jefferson. Stewart really wants it. Gets it over to the open player, Williams.
And if you want to be a National Player of the Year, when your team's up 20 in the 4th quarter, you still run the floor the way Stewart is running the floor.
Thought about taking the 3.
Popped in the face.
Yeah. Roxa got it on the way by, nothing called. Stewie. She has a versatile game. Another 20-point effort for Brianna Stewart. A 7-0 run this time for UConn. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Nurse will check back in for the Huskies at the next whistle. She's been interchanging with Gabby Williams, who gets one.
Wow, what a play by Gabby Williams.
Timeout. UConn well in control.
Brianna Stewart, the special player here, sizes it up. Wow, what a take. Little contact. Still able to finish.
Of college basketball is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Proud to support and equip hundreds of Team USA contenders so they can achieve their Olympic dreams. And Progressive, comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive.
UConn getting closer to collecting another trophy. UConn, with their National Players of the Year, typically don't take a lot of shots and still score a lot of points.
That's what's remarkable, is you have to be efficient to play for this team. You have to take good shots. As many Players of the Year as they have had, they've never had players who are just ridiculously high volume in terms of the number of field goal attempts. Stewart, what, under 13 field goal attempts a game?
And is averaging over 19 points a game. Mariah Jefferson is out. Afisa Collier has checked in, the freshman's first action, and as the shot clock expires, Stringfield has one rim out. So Gino Auriemma has just played 7 players tonight, Collier and Williams off the bench. But his starting five is pretty good.
And that's typical for him come NCAA tournament time. The last 2 years when they've won a national championship, he tightens it up. And come tournament time, it's about 7 players that are in his rotation. He was telling us this morning, ideally it's 8, but they've proven time and again that they can win a national championship with 7 solid.
Only 15 total bench minutes for the Huskies. Williams with all but a couple of seconds. Now that Collier's in. Shot clock again, dwindling. Stringfield working hard, but can't get it to go. Frustrating night after she had her first career double-double yesterday and a come-from-behind semifinal win over Temple. Bounce pass intercepted by Jenkins. She goes coast to coast. That's her first basket in a while.
South Florida continuing to play really hard. I mean, South Florida, because they're in this conference, faces UConn 3 times, will have 3 of their losses on their resume because of playing Connecticut. Keep in mind, any other team in the country, if they played Connecticut 3 times, they also would have 3 extra losses on their resume.
Nurse bottled up. And here's a stat that jumps out at you. Alicia Jenkins only has 1 rebound, and that came in the first half. And she's the best rebounder in this league, averaging about 12 per game.
Just about 4 of them on the offensive end per average as well.
USF led by 1 after 1, but then UConn started to take control about midway through the second quarter and has not looked back. Shot clock again, singles, and they're not going to get a shot off. Does that count as a block?
Here in Connecticut, I would think that that'll go down as a block.
Or was it a shot clock violation? It is a block.
Stewart all over her. Just, I mean, think about the versatility of Stewart. We talked about on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, because Connecticut can switch players 1 through 5, she ends up on the point guard and still stifles it.
7th block of the night for Stewart. 9, by the way, her career high she had against SMU in January of this year. Jesperson. Keep it going. No easy looks for the Bulls. Step back, Williams.
And to go and accelerate the way she does and then quickly stop and not only jump but kind of jump back to get the separation from the defense, that's why she can get off her shot against most defenders.
14 points, 12 in the second half at an American Conference Tournament record 29 against SMU in their first game here. Stewart drives in. 3:20 left to go. Should we be wondering why Stewart, Tuck, especially Stewie, is still in there?
You can wonder, but Natalie Butler's at the scorer's table, so she's going to about to come in. No, I thought around 8-minute mark when there was a timeout called, I thought Coach Orlando was going to sub for Brianna Stewart then.
A nice seal, better pass. Samuelson right into her. And Sanaya Chong will come in as well the next opportunity. Brianna Stewart and company about to go to 63-0 all-time against American Conference foes, both regular season and tournament. This will be their 69th straight game. They'll be 1 away from tying their 2nd longest NCAA streak. Semifinal of the Ben's West Coast Conference Championship tips off tonight at 9 Eastern. St. Mary's and Pepperdine on ESPN, and BYU Gonzaga 11:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Champ Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And the night is over. There's Brianna Stewart's parents, Stewie, Tuck, Mo, and everybody sitting down.
And you say them together because they're the class that came in together. And a classy move by Gina Oriama to bring them all out of the game at the same time. Because their success, granted, Stewart's gotten so much of the attention, but it's been the 3 of them together that have helped this team win those 3 national championships.
22 points, 7 blocks, 3 assists, 3 rebounds for Stewart. Williams gets a chance for a 3-point play.
Say that line one more time for Stewart, please.
22 points, 7 blocks, 3 assists, 3 rebounds.
And efficient, 10 of 16 from the floor.
And her next block will tie the all-time blocks record at UConn history. That will come, no doubt, in their first-round game in the NCAA tournament in
More
stores.
than likely, yes.
And they don't have to get on a plane until they go to Indianapolis, assuming they make the Final Four.
They will be in.
They will be there. Yeah, they'll host first, second round in stores, and then be the overall #1 seed in the Bridgeport region. Natalie Butler in, along with Chong and Courtney Eckmart. South Florida going to go to 23-9 on the season. Jesperson finishes, and Jose Fernandez, their coach, told us before the game that he's looking, he hopes, at a 5 or 6 seed when everything gets announced a week from tonight.
Nice round of applause for Katie Samuelson as she comes out. But yes, he hopes the committee, and of course they're paying attention, so they understand that many of those losses for South Florida came when they had injuries to their players. We talked about Jenkins being injured, Laxey being injured. They played really strong and tough games against Baylor. Was that a 4-point game earlier in the season, a 3-point game? He's played a tough schedule, and they've performed well against that competition.
They lost 4 games in the conference during the regular season, 2 of them, of course, to UConn. They also lost to at Temple by 2 points. And Memphis, which is an improved team, in overtime. But they're definitely going to make the tournament for the 2nd year in a row. And the cheer comes up as the walk-on Polito comes in for the other walk-on, Tierney Lawler.
What did he
senior.
What did he give Lawler? Is that like a minute?
Maybe.
You don't put the walk-on in for the walk-on. Come on.
Play them together, right?
Yes.
Can anybody beat UConn?
Where they played tonight,
Gino Oriana says it's going to take a team. He says the only way we lose is if we don't shoot the ball well. He referenced the Warriors losing in LA to the Lakers the other night. Golden State was a ridiculous 4 of 30 from 3. But it's hard to imagine, as you said, if they play this well tonight, that they won't win their unprecedented 4th straight championship. They won 3 in a row. Earlier, Tennessee won 3 in a row in the Shamika Holtzclaw era, her first 3 years. But they're fun to watch, and they're just so good.
and this is the best I've seen them play defensively all season long. That's not a good sign for the rest of the teams in the country.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they peak in March and April, and that's really frightening. They do it again. The UConn Huskies, perfect in the American Conference all 3 years. That shot doesn't count, but the win sure does. Gino Auriemma's club wins the American Conference again, taking out 2nd seed South Florida 77-51. Remember, they were trailing by 1 after 1 quarter, but then they just turned it on and took out the Bulls.
I mean, it all starts for the Connecticut Huskies on the offensive end in particular with Brianna Stewart, and she brought it here tonight, locked in from the get-go. We saw her entire skill set on display. Inside, there's nothing you can do against a long-armed person with that hook shot, and then she took it outside, able to hit the 3. Finishing with contact, such an area of improvement for that young lady.
22 points, 7 blocks for Brianna Stewart, who has been named the most outstanding player of this American Conference Championship. She also was the MOP 2 years ago when she was a sophomore. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis won it last year, in case you're wondering. But as you mentioned, what a line. She's just so efficient. And Brooke Weisbrod is there with both Stewie and Coach Auriemma.
Well, Stewie, another year, another American Athletic Conference Championship, but this one, USF did try to prevent that for a little while. What was the difference in the game in your mind?
I think the difference was we just played harder. From the start to the finish, we wanted to come out and really be aggressive, and that's what we did.
How much of that, though, is dictated by the defensive effort you guys put out?
Our defense is huge. I mean, that starts everything for us offensively, and, you know, making Courtney Williams frustrated to get the ball, that was a big game plan.
Heard that in the huddle. Coach Auriemma talking about just make it difficult for her to get her catches, make her play defense. What is it about inside of you and inside of this team that causes that next level and that next gear to appear?
Oh, I think we're so determined, and it's March now, and we know what March means. March is business, and, you know, this is where we win championships.
Well, we'll look for you to get even sharper in the postseason. Brianna, congratulations. Coach Auriemma, what is the first thing you look for when you look at that box score?
I mean, I thought our defense, you know, we did an incredible job on the defensive end, and the shots that they took were tough shots, and they made some tough ones, but we just worked really, really hard down that end, and then that led to a lot of good stuff down this end, and we just shot the lights out. I mean, it's just, we're hard to play against when shots are going in, you know, and it was just a great effort by everybody. It wasn't like dominated by one person. That's kind of what I like the most about it.
Well, one person who does tend to dominate the game is Brianna Stewart. So it'll be the last time you get to see her play on this floor. You get to have her for a few more games. What has she meant to you as a player?
Well, you know, when you look up at some of the banners that we have in our building, you start to appreciate how much of an impact she's had at Connecticut in so many different areas. We said there'd be not another Diana, and then we said there'd be another Maya, and there's not going to be another Stewie. You know, she's a unique individual who has a unique set of skills as a basketball player, and the bigger the game, the better she plays.
Coach, we'll look forward to watching her play a few more. Thank you so much for your time. Pam?
Thank you very much. They're now 6 wins away from another national championship. UConn wins again 77-51 coming up. East Tennessee State and Chattanooga in the Southern Conference Men's Championship game. For Rebecca Lobo and Brooke Weisbrod, I'm Pam Ward saying so long from Mohegan Sun. Let's go back to Doug in the studio.